Hi students, now let us continue with the sexual reproduction in human beings, in which we'll be studying about the fertilization, childbirth and menstruation. Learning outcomes. By the end of this topic, the students will be able to learn the process of fertilization, implantation and childbirth, the various contraceptive methods and sexually transmitted diseases. Here, coming to the female hormones which we have discussed in the previous slideshow, namely the estrogen and progesterone. The hypothalamus is the one which is initiating the anterior lobe of pituitary. Within 12 to 14 days, a positive feedback is given for luteinizing hormone and a follicle stimulating hormone on the gonad, namely the ovary, where the ovary would release estrogen and progesterone to the uterus. And here, this estrogen and progesterone gives a negative feedback on the anterior lobe of pituitary and the hypothalamus, and there would be balance of hormones in the body, which is called our inbuilt system. Ovaries. As I said earlier, that the follicles are already present by the girl child. No new follicles would be added or grown, but every 28 days, a follicle would be matured and releases a ovum, which is called ovulation. Here, the matured follicle is called Graafian follicle. After on a 12th to 14th day, it would rupture and forms the and releases the ovum, and the remaining part is called the corpus luteum. The ovum, once released, is taken by the it stays in the fallopian tubes. Here is a cycle of menstrual cycle where on the 14th day ova is released or ovum is released, and the remaining is called corpus luteum, which degenerates. And ovum waits in the fallopian tube for 24 hours for the process of fertilization. The joining of the nuclei of the male gamete with the female gamete is called fertilization. Here, the ovulation is the process of release of ova from the ovary, and once the ova gets fertilized, the egg gets fertilized, a zygote is formed, and this zygote from the anterior part of fallopian tube slowly moves towards the uterus, and then it undergoes several mitotic divisions, and it gets embedded in the endometrium of the uterus. There, in the endometrium, it forms the placenta, a nutritive tissue which would provide supply of oxygen, glucose. At the same time, it removes the excretory gases and the nitrogenous waste through a umbilical cord. Childbirth. It begins with the strong muscles in the wall of the uterus to contract by the oxytocin hormone, which is produced by the posterior lobe of the pituitary. And these pains are called the labor pains. And the wall of cervix gradually becomes wider enough to bring the baby out to this world. Here are the few pics which would show you the childbirth. Slowly, the amnion, in the amnion, the baby's head comes first through the vagina. And after the childbirth, the umbilical cord and the placenta is also removed. Now, Discussing on the various contraceptive methods, there are four basic methods: natural, chemical, mechanical, and surgical. In natural, abstinence would be seen, and a chemical, contraceptive pills or a spermicide, and then mechanical, condom, diaphragm, IUCDs are used, and surgical, after having a few children and go for the family planning, vasectomy in males, and tubectomy in females. Here you can see the table and what are the advantages and disadvantages of a abstinence natural method can be seen, and the contraceptive pills would show little side effects like Saheli tablets. For 28 days it is used, and rotation of these pills will help in ovulation and prevent the pregnancies. Condom, uh, it stops the entry of the sperms into the female vagina. And diaphragm is also the same way, which prevents the entry of the sperms into the female body. Sterilization is a family planning which can happen after the childbirth, either one or two, by the understanding of the parents. Vasectomy in males and a tubectomy in females is this sterilization in a male and female bodies. Now, coming to the sexually transmitted diseases, STDs, gonorrhea and AIDS are to be studied more. Gonorrhea, it is caused by a bacteria, and the symptoms will include that it reproduces in the urethra, an unpleasant discharge or a pain would be seen in a male. In women, it reproduces mostly in the cervix, and discharge and no pain would be there, but they are unaware of they have the infection, and it spreads by the through the sex only, direct contact. Antibiotics can be used for its treatment. Now coming to the HIV or AIDS. AIDS is the fourth stage of a HIV positive. It can be a direct contact with the body fluids, like through the sexual intercourse or through the blood contact or a blood transfusion, or it can be like from pregnant women to a child. It affects the immune system, entire immune system, and you can just go through the various ways how to prevent it. Thank you.